fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Banjo, the dog, coming at you live from my garage. And this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. Today's episode, we're going to go over all that mock drafting I've been doing on ESPN, 10-team PPR. I go PPR because we're in a half PPR league, and I'd rather just err on the side of, thinking about pass catching running backs and wide receivers with more receptions and that kind of stuff, because it usually helps you out in the long run anyways. And today we're going to go over the top 5 things that I have learned. So I'm going to be doing, one of these maybe, every Monday leading up into August. Next Monday for sure, because we're going to do a pre-draft special. But then after the draft, man, I'm going to be, mock drafting all the time, and things stand out to me. And I will just be on here sharing it with you guys. So the number one thing, I wanted to see where Kelce was going to go, because you can make a case for Jason Kelce, not Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, the dude's brother, to be the number 1 overall pick, ahead of Justin Jefferson, ahead of Christian McCaffrey. Those are pretty much the 3 dudes right now that people are looking at. And, Kelce, it's all about the difference between Justin Jefferson and, some of these number 2 and number 3 wide receivers is like half a point in fantasy per game. When you're looking at Travis Kelce, it is like literally, we can go over right now. Mark Andrews. So Travis Kelce scored pretty much 12 points per game, fantasy points per game last season. Andrews, 7.8. Hawkinson, 7.6. So those are just some of the, that's like 5 points almost, 4 points. George Kittle stands out to me on this, especially because Brock Purdy, they said he's going to come back. They believe in Brock Purdy, all this stuff. He's supposed to be ready like in the beginning of training camp, but maybe not really. We'll see. But dude, when Kittle was playing with Brock Purdy, he was matching Kelce. He had Kelce type numbers. And at the end of the season, even after, no Brock Purdy for some of this, all that stuff that happened last year, Kittle averaged 9.4 fantasy points per game. So Kelce going, he's gone by number 6. That's what I've learned so far. If you're picking number 6, you're probably not going to get Travis Kelce. That's the number 1 thing. And the thing about that is, leads into my number 2 things, which is number 2, boom, no elite wide receivers left by the end of the second round. So we're talking about Travis Kelce, right? So if you want to get Travis Kelce in the top 5, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to get an elite wide receiver on the turnaround next round. So as much as I like taking Travis Kelce, I would rather have that elite wide receiver and then pair him up with like a Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's going second round, some reliable, maybe even another pass catcher if he falls. But so far, I think Jalen Waddle's fallen to me once, something like that. So yeah, number 2, elite wide receivers gone by the end of the second round. This includes DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, who I'd love to have. I'd love to have DK Metcalf as well, or Jalen Waddle. So, even if you're waiting for, Jalen Waddle's number 2 wide receiver on his own team, but if you've owned him before, like me, his rookie year, you do know that if 2 is playing, man, Waddle's going to get a touchdown and some yards. So people are going to have to make that decision when you want to wait, because elite wide receiver is going to be gone, dude, by end of second round. So just think, you need a wide receiver in your first 2 rounds. Okay. And tight end's always a wasteland. We talk about tight end wasteland last season. Well, this season's going to be the same thing. Okay. So you're either going to want to get like Kittle or, Kelce, or just wait till the very way late. I'm really interested in Goddard if I can get him where I want to get him. And I'm interested in, Evan Ingram. He signed back on. I really believe in Trevor Lawrence. So that kind of stuff, anyways, that's number 2. Number 3, QB watch, right? So, dude, I drafted Trey Lance and something else last season, and I ended up with Tua Tagovailoa like by week 4 or 3 when he left, with concussed. And last season, not having a tight end or a reliable wide receiver, or a quarterback, to get you a quarterback that gets you 20 points a game, that is so big, because when you do not have a quarterback, that's like the point differential is ridiculous. So I'm watching these quarterbacks to see where they're going. Mahomes, top of the 3rd round. So if you want Mahomes, you're going to have to go, you could go Kelce, Chubb, like you can go like Kelce, Chubb, Mahomes, but then you're out of that wide receiver. So it's like, what do you want to wait for? Seeing where these guys are playing out right now, as much as I want to get Mahomes, I'm probably not going to pay a top of the third, and Josh Allen's kind of going right after that. Burrow, who I am interested in, Burrow, dude, Burrow, Mahomes. I mean, Burrow's got better weapons. Mahomes is just like, never has a bad game. Burrow's going on the 4-5 turn. So that's like, 15 picks later or something like that. I do not mind waiting for Burrow. And then what I think is the best overall is Trevor Lawrence, who's going on the 7-8 turn. So you got Mahomes at the top of the third, or you could still get Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be going up draft boards because of this episode right here. But like, yeah, dude, I forget what I was saying because I sound so stupid, like I mean anything or matter. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that runs the ball. I mean, dude, he's on the ascension, second year in an offense, that's always like a big deal. He's gonna be way more comfortable. So number 3, I think I learned is, you don't really have to draft a quarterback super early to get these tiers, because I like Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Justin Herbert's even going like in the 6th. And I wouldn't mind just waiting and getting that. And then, so Trevor Lawrence is the last of a tier that I'd want. And you can go back to our tier episodes if you want to check those out. Number 4, Breece Hall watch. So apparently everybody's saying, like, the coach was like, man, Breece Hall is doing great. He's doing great. He's doing great. You should see him. He's great. He's going in round 5. He tore his ACL last year, October 23rd. So, that was like, I think it was like week 7 or something like that against Denver. Got a huge touchdown run and then tore his ACL like in the next drive. So Breece Hall, I think it's imminent that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jets. It's just a matter of how many years. But I think this year is a great year for Aaron Rodgers, playing with a chip on his shoulder. Next year, who knows? He might just not even care about football anymore. But, dude, Breece Hall in the 5th round, if you're going to be waiting on running backs, that is somebody, which I kind of am. That's somebody I'm going to target. If I can get Breece Hall and grab some of these other, rookie running backs a little bit later, I think that you could be set on a wait for running back, strategy for your draft. So anyways, that's number 4. And lastly, number 5, Calvin Ridley, man. Calvin Ridley, man. So 2020, right? 90 receptions, 143 targets, 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns. He had 15.3 yards per reception, which is like, he was catching deep balls, man. He was taking everything back. I think his long for that season was like 67 yards or something like that. He's going to go play with my man T-Law, Trevor Lawrence. So Calvin Ridley, I'm watching him to see where he goes, because we talked about all the elite wide receivers being gone by end of the 2nd round. There's not a lot of people that you can put your finger on and saying, oh, this guy is going to be, it's easier for running backs to do that to me, even rookie running backs can turn out to be elite sometimes, like Bijan Robinson, like that type of, gamble. But wide receivers is kind of harder than that, just look at last season with everybody doing that. Like, they were over 4, Michael Pittman Jr., Gabriel Davis, Cortland Sutton. All of a sudden, I had no points for my wide receivers, man. So Calvin Ridley into the 5th round. And this, again, because of the show, he's going to be skyrocketing up, because we're going to be pushing him and Trevor Lawrence super hard. That's going to be a really big stack for me. So I want to see where these guys are going in these mock drafts. Calvin Ridley, I'd be interested in, like, all the way. If he gets into the 3rd round, that's going to be tough. We'll have to see some preseason action before we start stamping him with 3rd round potential, because that's a lot of draft investment, especially if you're going to be waiting on running backs. And you can get Patrick Mahomes, dude, in the 3rd round. So you want to make sure that you're getting a really good player instead of Patrick Mahomes. Anyways, guys, if you like that, you could do it in real life, man. Just give us a thumbs up. And if you don't like that, I think there's a button for that too. And you can let us know. There's a comments section right there. Down, down, down. Tell me how terrible I am, how wrong I am. But hey, I'm just here to share. This is just an opinion, subjective stuff here, man. So calm down. But we've gotten 20 subscriptions in the last month or 2 weeks, maybe. It's been amazing. If you want to help us with that, that'd be great. We're going to keep on doing this regardless. It doesn't really matter how many subscriptions we get, but it is motivating. Gives us some dopamine hits to the brain, and I'm in need of some dopamine. All right, guys. I'm I'm going to be back with this stuff later on. So keep your eye out for these type of episodes and let me know if you like them. Catch you on the flip side.